So why do we stay in the relationships that are destructive for us? Why are we attracted to people that are hurtful and harmful? Why do we feel so drawn towards making it work with a partner that clearly isn't invested in us or committing to us? And the answer is simple. That drive is your subconscious mind. It is a powerful and formidable force, and it is a force that drives our behaviors in relationships and projects the kind of relationships we experience. So if we can understand our subconscious mind and learn how to work with it, then we can transform our relationships completely, and we can break the cycle of being in these painful relationships. So if you're in a relationship in which you're very unhappy right now, consider looking at it as a mirror of your relationship with yourself and as a point of self-discovery and transformation. Because if you can own this and you can take responsibility for this, then you can use your subconscious mind in a way that is immensely powerful and transformative. So let's think about an example of someone being in a relationship, and I've been in this situation as well, with a partner that is very emotionally unavailable and non-committal. So what does that mean? What does it mean when someone says that as much as I like you, I'm just not ready, okay? And what does that internally trigger within us? Now, within me at the time, it triggered waves of rejection and sadness and pain, and then sent me on the cycle of behaviors that follow these emotions. I have behaviors that try to counteract the effect of this by pursuing this person and being kinder and doing more and having less boundaries for myself and giving more in the hope that they would want to be with me. But the deeper thing we need to look at here is what was said to me was triggering a deeper wound in the heart, and that was that I wasn't lovable. I wasn't worthy of their commitment. And that struck a chord because unknowingly I had internalized this story that I wasn't lovable. And this came from a child's inability to truly process what was happening. One day, I just never saw my father again. And I, as a child, came to internalize that is that he gave up on me and he didn't want me. And I wasn't worth loving or being there for. And years went on without having him, and I really began to unconsciously believe this. So I went into adolescence seeking partners that reflected this, that were incredibly emotionally unavailable to me, or I would swap roles and I would be emotionally unavailable to people that were available to me. So I played this pattern out over and over again. And the more it would happen, the more I would affirm my belief that love is very painful, it's unstable, and people abandon you. So this is one example of this. I then moved into my early 20s where I was literally choosing partners that from the get-go were emotionally unstable, but I couldn't see it because I was drawn to other things like their charisma or other things they represented. But the red flag, which is that they were emotionally unavailable, never occurred to me because internally I was subconsciously attracted to that. I wanted to play my story out again because I wanted to fix it. I call this retroactive healing, when we go into the present and we try to fix the past by finding someone similar and trying to change it. But it doesn't work because this is all coming from an unconscious level. And if we're acting unconsciously, we cannot heal. We have to bring it up to the light of conscious awareness. So I was able to change this by realizing that I held these belief systems, by realizing I had internalized these stories about myself and believed I wasn't worthy of a relationship. And that took a great deal of healing. It took me understanding that perhaps I didn't interpret events correctly, and that I am indeed loved and I am valued, and there are many positive characteristics that I have that would greatly benefit a partnership, and that I am worthy of sharing a loving relationship, and that was up to me to cultivate this. And I used my subconscious mind. So this is an example of how the subconscious mind forms what we would call a relationship template This is the template or the structure in which we hold all our early associations about love and relationships and marriage and divorce. And it is the way we navigate unconsciously through life and create partnerships. And this will explain why you may be in a relationship that is not consciously to your liking. You know you could have more. You know you could be happy. You know you deserve better than this. But there's a part of you that is so deeply attached to this belief system. And that part of you simply needs healing. And I call that part the inner child. And this is a very common term that you'll find in psychology, in which we talk about a part of ourselves that becomes almost frozen in time and becomes frozen around a traumatic memory. And this memory keeps being played over and over again in a modern context where we choose people that mirror our relationship with a parent in which there was a painful, difficult emotional relationship. So the journey then is towards inwards, towards looking and discovering this part of ourselves, this inner child, getting to know them, and then being the love they seek, being the comfort, being the protection, being the safety, being all the things you seek in relationship from another to yourself. And the more you can comfort and love and be present with this part of yourself, the less and less attracted you will be to these destructive relationships. So the road to healing starts with ourselves. We need to recognize what is the story we're running, where did we get the story from, is it still relevant to us now? Do we need to continue to hold on to this? What belief systems are in our relationship template that we're holding on to? What are our negative associations about relationships? These are all things we can work on. These are things we can make lists about. The more we talk about it, the more we write it out, the more conscious we make it, the less subconscious it becomes, the less power it has over us. The more we're able to look at the relationship and see it for what it is. It is just a subconscious pattern that we no longer have to interact with. We can choose differently. But we have to be willing to do that deep internal work. We have to work with the subconscious part of ourselves, that inner child that is stuck in this painful paradigm of relationships, in this paradigm of proving themselves, in believing they're not lovable, in believing they're not worthy. We have to go to that part of ourselves day after day after day and give ourselves that comfort. I really hope that was helpful to you. And if there's anything that I can help with or answer on this issue, or any other questions you may have about relationships, it's a gigantic topic, please feel free to email me. I'll leave my details below. And I wish you much love and happiness in your relationship with yourself going forward, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a wonderful day.